Welcome to She Stitchin'. This is Melanie. I'm really excited to show this fun stitch that I have here in gray to you. It's called the linked double crochet. And this is a part of our Just Another Crochet Along series. But if you just want to learn the stitch, you can stick around and I'll show you how. So if you are doing the crochet along with us, you're going to want to have a starting chain of 33. And you can go ahead and get started on that now with a 3.5 hook. You can see here I have my boye ergonomic hook. And I will put an affiliate link to my very comfortable hook in the video description if you'd like. But here you can see our sample for my crochet along sample blanket, which is worked up in my Caron 1-pound yarn, and it's a size 4 acrylic. And so you can see here, these are the linked double crochets. And they are the same height as a double crochet, a normal double crochet. So this is our first one here. And this is the front side of the stitch, and that's what the back side of the stitch looks like. So the back looks really similar to a normal double crochet. Whereas with the front of it, you get this fun line that goes all the way across to kind of add to give it more of a defined row look. And the best thing about this stitch is it's very snug. If you pull those double crochets apart, the linked double crochets apart, you're not getting that pull in the fabric. This is me, and I'm tugging pretty hard, and you're still not seeing many of those holes. Now, in contrast to that, I have like our floret stitch here. And when you pull this row is all double crochet. When you pull those apart, you really see the gaps in between those double crochets. Or here in our interlocking block square, when you pull that apart, you really can see in between the double crochets. Those were the long double crochets. But you can really see in between there. Another stitch I have with our double crochets in that same soft gray Caron 1-pound is our post stitches. So here you can see also how much of a gap you get in between those double crochets. But when you're doing that with these linked, you're really not getting that gap no matter how hard you pull. So this would be great if you need like a winter fabric or something like that. It's very snug. And the other characteristic that I was explaining to you is that line that goes across. Now some of you might be thinking about the line that you get when you do half double crochet. So I have our half double crochet sample here, but as you can see, these are more like rings or coils that go through. Let me pull this up a little bit closer here. So with the half double crochet, they overlap each other, and it's almost like a coil going around and around, or a spiral. Whereas with the linked double crochet, it's more like a line going across. So that line is really important when you're doing the stitch. And let me show you some samples. I worked it up in this very beautiful hometown yarn. It's the hometown. I love this color, Key Largo Tweed. And I worked it up here. And then I also worked it up in just like our generic old school Christmas variegated Super Saver yarn. Red Heart Super Saver, you know. So you can see down here, this is all regular, or this is all the linked double crochet. So it's kind of cool to see, kind of accentuates the variegation in some points, like here. When it changes halfway through the stitch, it looks pretty cool. And just to show you that difference again, these are regular double crochets at the top, so you can see how much of a gap you get versus that linked double crochet. You're not getting that gap at all. So let me show you what I did with this beautiful Key Largo yarn. So this is a chunky weight yarn, a super bulky, I believe. Let me get a different angle. Yeah, so it's a size 6 super bulky. Beautiful hometown USA Lion brand yarn. I love the colors in this. So you can see down here, I did the linked double crochets. So you can see that line that we're talking about, and then the back of the stitch and the line. And then I got fancy. And if you want to hang out to the end of the video, I will show you how I did this. But this is just one stitch. This is the height of one stitch. So here you can see these are double trebles. So if you've ever done double trebles, they're fun to do, but they're kind of useless because of how loose they are. But if you're doing linked double trebles, or they might be treble trebles, I'll have to look it up. If you're doing them linked, it's very tight. So you can see the difference here. These are the non-linked versus the linked. So I thought that was a fun thing to do. So if you want to see how I did that, go ahead and hang out to the end of the video and I'll show you how. But it was kind of like, I'll never forget the first time I saw a picture of a treble, treble, double, treble. I just had to try it. So when I started doing these linked double crochets, also got that same feeling of, I have to see what will happen if I make these taller. But anyways, let's go ahead and get back to our stitch for the day. So if you will join me at the end of our chain 33, I will help you. And if you're not doing the crochet along with us, I can't remember if I mentioned earlier, but the starting chain for this stitch takes up 3 chains. So you're just going to want to do however big you want it plus 3. So our crochet along patches are all 30 stitches wide, and then the turning chains you add another 3. So if you're doing it in a different size, do whatever size you want plus 3 extra chain. So go ahead and pause your video until you're done with your chain, and I will meet you down on the bottom. Here we are down at the bottom, and I forgot to introduce my yarn. This is a cone of peaches and cream cotton yarn, and this is the happy-go-lucky colorway, so it just has some fun speckles added in there. So we have 33 chains here. I chose the cotton just because it's easier to see the stitch definition. And a 3.5 is a little bit of a small hook to be using, but that's what we needed in order to maintain the gauge for our crochet along. So let's go ahead and get started. So what we're going to do is we're going to skip the first chain. So you're going to first skip that first one, and then I like to use the back bump, especially for this stitch. So skip that first one, and the second one is what we're going to use. What we're going to do is we're going to insert our hook into the second one, yarn over, pull loop back through. So then we have 2 hooks, or 2 loops on. And then, so this was one chain, 2 chain. I don't know, we're having a hard time focusing here, aren't we? There we go. So we have 1 chain, 2 chain. We're going to skip the 3rd chain, and we're going to go into that 4th chain down there. And we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to insert our hook into that 4th one, yarn over, pull loop through. So here, now we have 3 loops on our hook, and what we're going to do is we're just going to finish this off like a normal double crochet. And what we do for the normal double crochet is yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through another 2. And that is our first stitch for the linked double crochet. So here we have like a little bit of a turning chain, and then here you can see our first linked stitch. And you have to make sure that your stitch has this horizontal bar here. Otherwise something went wrong, so you're going to want to rewind that and try it again. So make sure you're going into the 2nd chain, yarning over, and that's what this loop is from. And then you go into that 4th chain and yarn over, pull the loop through, right? And then finished off like a normal double crochet. So if you're not getting that loop, something's gone wrong, go back and try it again. So let me show you. So that's the turning linked double crochet. Now let me show you how we do the stitch, and this will be the same all the way across the pattern. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our hook and insert it into that horizontal bar. So you can see here we have the front loop and the back loop of our stitch up here on the top. So the front loop is going to run horizontal, or exactly the same direction like a railroad track. They're going to be looking exactly the same, just in different spots. So we're going to insert our hook just behind that one piece of yarn, that one bar. Then yarn over and pull loop through. Oops, this yarn's a little bit stiff. Yarn over, pull loop through. And then we're going to go into the back bump of the next chain, because we're using the back bumps, and we're just going to insert our hook, yarn over, pull loop up, and then we've got 3 loops on the hook, and we're going to finish that off like a double crochet by yarning over, pull through 2, pull through 2. So here you can see we've got those, maybe we can think of them as railroad tracks. We've got the one here and the top. So make sure we're getting that bar there. All right, let's go ahead and do that again. So we're going to insert our yarn, or insert our hook onto that bar, yarn over, pull loop up. Then we're going to go down to the next stitch. So we finished off here, ignore that base. We're going to go into the next one, insert our hook, yarn and pull loop through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Let me do that again with you. I always have to fight my muscle memory on this stitch in order to not yarn over first. So make sure you're not yarning over first. Insert your hook into that horizontal bar, yarn over, pull loop through, and then yarn over, or then go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull loop through, finished off like a double crochet, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I need a little bit more slack here. Let me readjust. So what you're going to do is all the way across, you're going to repeat this out. So I'll do it one more time with you, and then I'll meet you at the end of the row. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull loop through, into the next chain space, yarn over, pull loop through, and then finish that off like a normal double crochet, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And there we have our first turning chain one, or our first turning link double crochet, then 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so go ahead and continue that all the way down the line. Make sure you don't yarn over before you start. Fight that muscle memory. And I will meet you for the last one. Okay, here we are. I have 28 so far plus the linked, or the first turning chain. So I'm just going to do this last one with you. We're going to want to make sure we get into the end of that stitch, the slip stitch there, or the slip knot. So yarn over, insert into that bar, pull loop up, and then yarn over, and then go in to that last stitch, yarn over, pull the loop back through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and there we have it, our first row. So we're going to repeat this next row the whole rest of the way. The only thing that's going to be different this time is we're going to be going into the top of the stitches instead of into the top of the chains. So you can really see that stitch definition here with that cotton. I love this stitch in the middle that just happens to have that blue bar. Kind of fun for a yarny person. The back looks like regular double crochets. So we are done with this first line, and now we're going to go backwards up the regular side just like we would with a normal double crochet. Now, I do not recommend trying to figure out an alternative turning chain or a chainless turning double crochet for this. You've just got to do the way we do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to skip the first chain, which happens to be all yellow. We're going to go into this second chain, which happens to be all white. We're going to try to hit that back bump there. So into that back bump, yarn over, pull loop through. Okay, and then we're going to go into the base, the farthest one here. We're going to go through the back loop and the front loop. So insert our hook, yarn over, pull loop through. We've got 3 loops on, then yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through the next 2. So that's the turning chain that we're going to do on all the stitches. Let me just do that with you guys one more time, just to make sure that everyone is okay with it. So what we're going to do is chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to skip that first one. Oh, the colors came out a little bit differently this time. We're going to skip that first one and go into the second one. And we want to make sure we get in here. Yarn over, pull loop through. Go into the base of the stitch, through the front loop and the back loop. We're going to go through both. Yarn over, pull loop through. Now we've got 3 on, so we pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2 again. There we go. That's our starting chain. So now let's make sure, oh, looks like my yarn split a little bit there, didn't it? 1 and 2. Didn't grab all of that yarn, there we go. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Alright, there we have it. So here you can see that bar. Make sure you always have that bar on your turning chain. And we're going to continue on this row just like we did on the row before. So we're going to insert our hook, yarn over, pull loop through, go to the next stitch, front loop and back loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. There we go. And we're just going to complete that all the way to the end of the row. And make sure that we have 30 stitches, so 29 linked double crochet plus that turning chain. Make sure you always have 39. Now my least favorite thing about this stitch is that the edges get kind of rough. They're not perfectly smooth like I'm used to doing. And that's just because of that turning method that we use. So when you are getting to the end of the row, just make sure that you use up that extra little loop at the end. So let me, so go ahead and finish this on a whole nother row of that linked double crochet. Hopefully you're getting the hang of it by now. And I'll meet you at the end to show you how I kept the ends straight, because this was a pretty difficult stitch to keep those edges straight. So I'll meet you at the end. Row. And you can see here, this isn't really going straight, but I did count and make sure that we are all the way out. So this is our 30th stitch, but you can see if we were to continue up, this guy would be sticking out awkwardly. So I'm going to teach you my secret to make that not happen. So what we're going to do is start off the stitch normal, insert into that bar, yarn over, pull loop through. Then when we go into the next stitch, instead of just going through the front loop and the back loop, I'm also going to go through this wrap right here. So I'm going to insert my hook in through that wrap, and then just pull it through. Oops, a little tricky sometimes. Pull it backwards like that. Pull it backwards and then get through the front loop and the back loop. So I'm through that little wrap on the end. So here you can see the front loop and the back loop, front loop, back loop, and that little extra wrap on the end. So what I do is I pull that wrap, I insert my hook, pull that wrap around, and then I go through the front loop and the back loop, like that. And then I finish off the stitch normally. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. And that just helped me, you can see how much more straight that line is now. And it's just because you're placing that yarn a little bit further. Let me focus in here. Placing that yarn a little bit further out just to keep those edges straight. Let me go ahead and review that turning chain with you, and then I'll show you my fun steps for creating that other stuff I was doing earlier. So yarn over and do 3 chains. 1, 2, 3. Turn the work. Then we're going to go skip that first chain, go into the second chain, insert our hook, and I'll pull that loop up, go into the first front loop and back loop of the next of that row below us. Yarn over, pull loop through. You've got 3 on. Then yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through the next 2. There's our first one, and then you just continue on down the road. Insert into that bar, then down on the bottom, pull through 2, pull through 2. And there you can see the side is pretty straight. But this is definitely this definitely is a stitch that needs a border. So that should be everything you need to know in order to do this stitch, and I hope that you enjoy it. It is pretty easy to do. It does take me a little bit longer to do than the double crochets just because of the yarning over. It's so much easier than inserting your hook. But I hope you enjoy it. If you have any questions, please comment down below, and I will try to get back to them. As always, please like and subscribe, and leave a comment even if you just want to say something else. That always helps me be encouraged that you guys are enjoying the video tutorials. So if you remember at the beginning of the video, well, let me say one more thing first. Make sure you join up on Facebook if you have a Facebook account to our community that's doing the crochet along together and showing tons of different other things that we work on. And I also have an Instagram and a TikTok, and I'll leave the links to those in my video description if you're interested in seeing those accounts. Reach out to me there. So now let's go ahead and I will show you the fun stuff that I was doing with that Key Largo yarn. So let me get this ready and I'll be right back. So when we started off with the linked double crochets, we were doing a chain 3. So in order to get higher on these treble stitches, I'll show you how many chains we need to do in the double trebles and etc. So for each extra little level you want, you're going to add an extra 2 chain. So like I said before, we would start off with a 3 chain for the double crochet. I'm going to go a little bit fast because I'm assuming if you want to play, you'll be able to follow quickly. And if we were going to do a treble stitch, we would do 5. But we're going to do a double treble, so we're going to do 2 more, which gives us a chain of 7 to start off with. And then we're going to skip that first one and insert our hook here, yarn over, and pull the loop through. So now we've got 2 hooks on, or 2 loops on the hook. Then we're going to skip one and go to the next chain, insert our hook, yarn over, pull loop through. Then we've got 3 loops on. Then we're going to skip one, go into the next one again, yarn over, pull over. Now we've got 4 on the hook. And then we're going to skip that last chain and go down here into the front and the back loop of the stitch down here. Oops. So now let's see how many we have on. 5. Okay, so this is going to be a really tall stitch. So what we're going to do the whole way up is just yarn over and pull through 2. So yarn over, pull through 2. You see that first horizontal bar is created, yarn over, pull through 2. Another horizontal bar is created, yarn over, pull through 2. Another horizontal bar is created, yarn over, pull through 2, and that's the top of the stitch. So there we have it. We have 3 horizontal bars here. So it is pretty fun. So now what we're going to do, I'll show you on the next. Okay, shh. Next we're going to start on the next stitch, and this is what you'll do all the stitches throughout the end. You'll just insert your hook into the horizontal bar. I tend to hold this stitch a little bit crooked when I'm working on it for some reason. Probably because we're inserting this way. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull loop through. Insert your hook into the next horizontal bar, yarn over, pull loop through. So this is almost like a Tunisian stitch because we're lining up all these stitches here. So then we go into the next horizontal bar, yarn over, pull loop through. Now we've got 4 on the hook. We're going to find our next base there. We've got both loops. We'll go straight through, yarn over, pull loop through. Oops. A little clumsy with these big stitches, huh? So then we've got 5 on, and then we're going to go ahead and pull, yarn over, pull through 2 the whole way up. So yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. And that's how I was doing that. So I bet you could even go, if you have a long enough hook, you could go even higher. So here we went up to 7. Should we try 11 or should we just try 9? Let's try 11. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now I'm just messing around. Now I'm just showing off. All right, so we're going to skip that first chain, go into the next one. Insert hook, yarn over, pull loop through. Skip one, go into the next one. Do the same thing. Skip one, pull into the next one. Skip one, go into the next one. Oh, this is getting long. Skip one, go into the next one. Skip one, go into the base. And then we're going to yarn over and pull through 2 the whole way up. Yarn over, pull through 2. 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 Yarn over, pull through, oops, got snagged there. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. There you have that humongous tall stitch. And let's work our way back down just for fun. Insert into the bar, pull loop through. Insert into the bar, pull loop through. Insert into the bar, pull loop through. So now I've never really spent much time doing Tunisian crochet, but now I understand why. It's pretty effective, works up fast, and then down into the base. It was weird, my camera cut out mid-stitch. That's odd. Let's go ahead and work our way back up by yarning over, pull through 2. Pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2.
over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. Boom! Look at that. So you can see how tall that is. Imagine how fast a scarf would go. It does seem to curl a little bit on the edge, so we would want to put some kind of a border on that. But very easy, very fun. So thank you for staying. If you did hang around the whole time, thank you for staying to play with me and my yarn. And I will see you guys next week for our next stitch. And if anybody asks where I am until next time, just tell them she's stitching.